Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for coming. سلام بر همگی دوستان گرامی، خوش اومدین. خیلی خیلی سپاسگزار هستیم و خوشحال هستیم که شما تشریف آوردین اینجا. I'm gonna do the intro in English because there are some folks here who don't speak Farsi. So I'm going to do the intro in English. The workshop itself is going to be done in English and Farsi both. So please feel comfortable, whatever language you speak. You're going to be comfortable here. I'm going to do a little intro for a few minutes, and then I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Hesam Abedini and their esteemed Sacramento luminary, Narimon Asadi. Come on. And while I'm talking, they're going to be fine-tuning the audio behind me. So apologies in advance if there are any glitch sounds that might come out. On behalf of the Iranian and Middle Eastern Studies Center here at Sacramento State, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to our workshop participants and our esteemed guest speaker, Dr. Hesam Abedini and Narimon Asadi. We are so happy you've all joined us. I also want to thank our co-sponsors, the Southwest Asian and North African Swana Center and the Department of Anthropology, as well as our administrative support coordinator, Erica Cessna, and our graduate intern, Loudon Nighty, for their efforts in helping bring today's program to you. I also want to shout out Nathan Marquardt for his graphic design work. He brought our gorgeous new logo to life. I handed out some of these brochures. I'll hand out a few more for folks that came after I had already given them out. You'll see the logo on there when you see that. We are very grateful for your support and your collaboration. I'm Sahar Razavi. I'm an associate professor of political science, the director of the Iranian and Middle Eastern Studies Center, and the faculty scholar advisor serving the Swana Center. I want to share with you a little bit about what we do in the center, but also I want to announce a new research grant that I'm very excited about. I put out a few flyers for that as well. The IMET's mission is to foster a better understanding of the peoples, cultures, and politics of Iran and the Middle East and North Africa in the greater Sacramento region and Northern California. We pursue this mission by promoting and supporting social and cultural events, forums, workshop, research, and courses, as well as building collaborative relationships with similar centers in the US and abroad. The announcement that I want to make, I'm so excited that it's gone live just as of this morning. Actually, if I'm being honest, probably 12:30 a.m., which is technically the morning as I was taking the application live. We have 2 new research grants that were made possible by the generous support of this campus community. We did a Nowruz fundraising luncheon and Swana Center soft lunch a year and a half ago. That's how long it took. This is my excitement. It's been building for 2 years while I've been working on this. These are now live, and these research grants are going to support students who are doing research on the Middle East and North Africa or its diasporas. It's open to all Sacramento State students, graduate or undergraduate, of any background. You just have to be studying the region or its diasporas. The application can be found on the IMESC website, which is on those brochures. We're also going to be hosting some programs in the spring. I won't bore you with the details now, but you can find more information about those also if you join our mailing list, which you can do on our website. Today, we are honored and delighted to host Dr. Hesam Abedini. Dr. Abedini is an Iranian-American composer, performer, improviser, and educator whose work explores intercultural dialogue between classical Persian music, jazz, Western contemporary traditions, and computer music. A founding member of the Seabag Ensemble, he is recognized for a polystylistic approach that integrates diverse musical languages through improvisation and new composition. And for those of you who are familiar with music, improvisation in music is a skill of the highest order. Kar hame nist. It's not something everyone can do. His works have been performed by ensembles including the Jack Quartet, the Del Sol Quartet, Eclipse Quartet, Hypercube, and Load Bang. Alongside composing and performing, Dr. Abedini is active as a curator, producer, and filmmaker. His projects include the NEA and Roshan-sponsored documentary From Esfahan to Irvine, archived at the Library of Congress, and recordings such as Cypher with Seabag Ensemble, Kuche Khaman, co-produced with Del Sol Quartet, Billboard Classical Chart number 5, Ode to Love with Namad Ensemble, and Circadian Etudes with the Assembly for Distance Alchemy. He is also a writer for the Pish Radif website, educational platform created to make classical Persian music accessible to learners from all backgrounds. Educated at the Tehran Music Conservatory with a BA from University of California, San Diego, and a PhD from University of California, Irvine in integrated composition, improvisation, and technology. Dr. Abedini studied with Lei Liang, Chinari Ung, Anthony Davis, Mark Dresser, Christopher Dobrian, Hossein Omumi, and Michael Dessin. In 2025, he joined California State University Fullerton as assistant professor of composition music theory, where he also serves as the assistant director of the CSU Fullerton New Music Series. Tonight, Dr. Abedini is going to lead a workshop, an interactive music workshop on composing Iranian classical music. And this is going to require you to sing. So please get ready, warm up your vocal cords. If I could have, I would have brought hot tea to bring our vocal cords up to warmth, but I wasn't able to get the catering order in. So for the evening's program. So hopefully everyone brought their singing voice with them. We are recording this presentation. If you would like a copy of the recording, please let me know, and I will be happy to send it to you. And after the workshop, we're also going to have time for questions, but those are sort of built in the workshop format, so it won't be the formal question and answer session that you might expect from a presentation. So without further ado, please allow me to welcome, and please join me in giving a warm welcome and a thank you to Dr. Hesam Abedini for joining us here from.
Thank you so much. First of all, thank you so much, Dr. Razavi, for having me and for doing all this wonderful work at Sacramento State. It's wonderful to have an amazing colleague like you to get inspired by everything you do. So thank you so much. And thank you so much for coming. It's 6 p.m. It means a lot to me that you are here, including the students who will get extra credit. Are you students back there sitting? Yes. Are you getting extra credit? Yes. So can I give you a little hard time because you're getting extra credit? I don't want it to be for free. So can I please ask you to join me? Just everyone who's back there, just join and make it more cozy. How about that? It feels like we want to solve a really important issue. We are not. We want to have fun. So I would like to have everyone be closer to one another, and I can see your beautiful faces and I can hear you.
Take the center of it. Yeah.
I will.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
I will, of course. Thank you so much. This is way better. Great. Thank you so much for having me. Also, that was a really long introduction of me. So thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. I have some audio issue in this room. We couldn't figure it out, unfortunately, but everything is going to be fine. And we'll go with it. So today I want to introduce you to the classical Persian music and what that is, okay? But because I realize there are audience members here who are not Iranians, don't have Iranian background, I would start with just talking about the very basic concept. Where is Iran? How many people know where Iran is?
No,
Yeah. Do you know where Iran is?
right here.
So, yeah. That's a good answer. So because I live in Irvine, that's where I moved. I moved from Iran to Irvine down in Southern California. I will just show you how much I traveled. to get to Irvine. So we pass the East Coast, the Atlantic Ocean, you go all the way, and then you get to Tehran. That's the capital of Iran, and that's where Iran is, right? We know it in the modern Middle East, it's part of the Middle East. And just just a quick overview. Iran is a large country. It's 3 times France. It's larger than Alaska and has about 82 to 85 million people living in Iran. And this is Iran situated in like Asia. We have others with Afghanistan, Iraq, and other countries, as you see. And so this can be when I have a mixed audience, it's difficult to tackle this, but I think it's really important to mention this. This is for people who live abroad who are not Iranians. You hear, especially in the US, there is this problem of people that when you hear the term Persian or Persia and Iran, it becomes a little bit confusing. So I'm not talking about ethnicities and ethnic groups, but rather just when we refer to the country Iran. Iran is same as Persia, so Iranians are Persians. Okay, so and the term actually and Persians are Iranians, so it's the same. I would just mention that, well, the name of Iran in outside of Iran, they referred to Iran as Persia until 1935 when they decided to change the name. The king of Iran decided to change the name to Iran. So from Persia to Iran, and that became a moment where then a lot of conflicts between just the name and the ethnicity of Persians started to evolve in the conversation. But what I want to show you again to non-Iranians here, when you hear someone says, I'm Persian or I'm Iranian, they're coming from the country that we know of today as Iran, right? And in fact, the name Iran is the local name for Persia. And you can find the name of Iran in poetry by Ferdowsi, which dates back to 11th century, one of the greatest Iranian poets. And so that's I mean, there is much more to this, but I again, for non-Iranians, I have seen a lot of times, like they ask me, do you do Persian music or Iranian music? I want to be clear, this is the same. So you're going to talk about Persian music or Iranian music. Now, because until 1935, Iran was known as Persia. A lot of times we refer to our classical music that roots to in our history as classical Persian music rather than classical Iranian music, just to give the sense of how much history is behind that music. Same thing with the poetry that comes from Iran. We all speak Persian. There are a lot of again, to solve this conflict, a lot of times we say we speak Persian or we speak Farsi. Again, Farsi is the term that we use in Iran. We say we speak Farsi, and Farsi is composed of Fars and E, which refers to from Fars. So that's basically what it is, from Fars. So Farsi is that. And we write from, this is important because we are going to look at poetry written in Farsi or Persian, and we write from left to right, right? So we write from left to right, and I just wrote Farsi. Right. Did I say left to right? Yes. Right to left. Thank you so much. We write from right to left, and you will see some poetry that I will show you later. Also, again, this is for some of you who are not Iranians. Our calendar based on solar calendar, and we are currently the year that we celebrate is 1405. So it's a different calendar, different month systems, and we usually celebrate the first day of spring as our new year, the Nowruz. And I know you will have an exciting program here. Thanks to Dr. Razavi for making that possible. That's usually in March 20th or 21st. And I wrote the numerics that we use in Farsi, Persian, 1404. Just so you can get a sense of that. And now I want to talk about a very unique cultural aspect from Iran that really makes us very unique from all other different cultures that you see, and that's poetry, and how present poetry is in our culture. There's nowhere, I think, on the earth that you go to and you find poetry this much present in a culture. And poetry in Iran is one definitely part of our Iranian national identity. And as scholar Homa Khatouzian mentions, that literature is one of the three main national identities that Iranians have, and literature in Persian literature is all focused and emphasized on poetry. And then it also has been a form of resistance against foreign forces. For example, Ferdowsi, who I just referred to in 11th century, wrote a giant book of poetry, the Book of Kings. And one of the main purpose that he wrote that was because he wanted to keep the Persian language alive after Iran was invaded by Arabs. So, and then also you see how poetry connects science, art, and spirituality in Iranian culture. And a lot of Iranian poets, especially the classical poets, were polymaths, or they were not only poets, but they were also scientists, artists of different kinds, and also they were practicing different spiritualities. So I want to give you some examples to make that more clear, kind of, for you. This is a shopping bag, and they sell gas. Is a delight from Isfahan, specifically, and other cities in the center of Iran. But imagine if you go to Trader Joe's and buy something, and then the plastic bag they put your grocery in has a poetry on it. Never happens, right? It must say Trader Joe's. Or you go to Ralph's, it must say Ralph's, right? But here in Iran, they have a line of poem, which actually includes the name of their brand to advertise for their brand. So they use a line of poem to advertise, right? And it's on the plastic bag. And this is me when I was 9 years old, here on Hafez tomb, where Hafez is resting, one of the greatest Iranian poets of all time from 14th century. And the reason I have this photo is because my father shot this photo probably of me, because I was so into reading all these poetries that is on his tomb. And this is how much we are involved with poetry now, because we have some of the students here with us. I'll give you another example that works with what you probably are into. Going to social media, Instagram and Facebook. You go to a party, and tomorrow you like someone in that party and you want to send them a message, or just, tell them that you are there. You post a photo or you post a story, and then you write a poem. That happens a lot with young Iranians too. So you grow up with poetry, and you usually in your school you have to do at least memorizing one poem a week or every other week. So that's part of the curriculum as well. So poetry is it's present in our culture so much that we can't avoid it. It's you live with it, you grow up with it, and you learn it one way or another. Some people are more well versed with it, some people less. But poetry is, and it's fascinating to see how this this cultural difference exists between Iran and other societies. There is another example I have, this last example, I promise. I talked about poetry a lot. But this is just a small local governmental building, and they took the wall and they have a poem and they have calligraphed that poem there. So you see it everywhere, right? You see it on the plastic bags, on the walls, in the streets, everywhere, on Facebook or any social medias. When I was like 10 years ago, I remember I started like gathering all photos that all my friends on social media would post of themselves and writing a poem that has nothing to do with the photo that they are posting. But they use one line of poem because that's how they are expressing their feelings. So since we talked about poetry, I will just name a few, especially for those who are non-Iranians. Ferdowsi is definitely one of the great poets who you can look into from the 10th to 11th century. And still, last 2 years ago, I was writing a piece on kind of reflecting on what's going on in our society, and I found a few lines of Ferdowsi that fits very well with it. So still today, after hundreds years, after the 1,000 year, it still makes sense. And then we have Omar Khayyam, who was a polymath from 11th to 12th century. I highly encourage you to look into his poetry. And then Rumi from 13th century, probably the most known Iranian poet in the US specifically. And then we have Saadi from 13th century, and a little after it, Hafez between 13th to 14th century. Hafez is very, very important in Iranian culture. The book of his poetry is usually set on the table that we put together for celebrating the New Year. And almost all Iranians have a Hafez poetry book in their houses. We have so many Iranians here. If you have one Hafez, raise your hand so everyone else can see. Yeah. So see, everyone who is Iranian here in the audience will have a Hafez in them. Now, I want to talk about Iranian poetry a little more, but now I'm going to get into the poetry itself. I want to talk about poetry rhythms. We have, because I think that's one of the most interesting concepts that we have in Iranian poetry, which makes it different from a poetry that we find in other cultures and languages. In Farsi, the poetic rhythm is known as the bah. That's the name that we use. It's derived from Arabic, actually. It's bah. And then there are that's the coolest thing here. There are over 146 bahs. So we have over 146 different poetic rhythms in Persian. That's a lot, just poetic rhythms, meaning that there are these rhythms that grouping of long, short syllables together that you can use in order to write your poetry in. So it will have different rhythms to it. And we have over 146. However, I have counted, and there are about 70 of them that are alive. By alive, I mean they are used. You can find poetry that are using. And there are about 14 to 15 of them that are commonly used and shared a lot. So, but that's still a huge number, and it's still a lot of possibilities just right. So bahs, what I was talking about, is created combining short, long, and extra long syllables. So in Farsi, we have not only short and long, but we have extra long syllables as well. And just quickly, I think this becomes handy when we start talking about the classical Persian music and the repertory, and we try to sing together. Did you know that we are going to sing together?
Yes.
Yes. We are going to do it together, so nobody feels bad or feels like shy or anything. We're going to do it together. But this is some extra information just for you. Short syllables, we use the ta for just referring to the short syllable. Now, you can put any syllable of any word into it. Ta. This is a short syllable. And long is tan. So ta, tan is short, long, right? And then extra long is ta, tan. So here is an example. Tan, ta, tan, 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 ta, tan, 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 ta, tan. So it's basically a long, short, long, 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 short, long, 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 short, long. Tan, ta, tan, 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 ta, tan, 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 ta, tan, tan. And then by repeating these two I's, you create a couplet. And so you have tan ta tan 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 ta tan 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 ta tan tan ta tan 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 ta tan 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 ta tan. That would give you one couplet, a line of poem. So now let's talk about what it means when we talk about the importance of poetry and talk about the importance of poetry in classical Iranian music. And it's impossible that a musician live in that society, grow up with poetry, and not pay attention to poetry. So I think any successful musician I know, Iranian musicians I know, they are well versed with classical Persian poetry and modern Persian poetry. So music is basically classical Iranian music is formed around the idea of reciting poems with ornamentations. So basically, when we look into how music has evolved in Iranian history and in the history of Iran, what we see is that poetry have been always the center of the music. So poetry is the reason of the music. Music comes to help when you want to recite poetry, but you use music, you use melodies and musical rhythms to make the poetry just more beautiful, to ornament it, basically. And we see that throughout the history. Now, I had an earlier talk today. I was talking about how intercultural music works, like when we mix different cultures together, and this is another thing that a lot of people try to do. They try to separate poetry from the classical Iranian classical music, and I think then you are taking out the essence of how meaning is created through music in that culture. So if you take that out, basically not much is left. And that's because music, or basically classical Iranian music, is inspired by poetic meanings and rhythms, and the form of and the structure of our music is based on poetry. Anyone with any questions? No questions. Yes.
So, I was wondering about, okay, so you were saying that Farsi, there was, that came from, Arabic. I thought,
It's just, you know, it's just the basically that word, the word itself. Yeah. It's used in, yeah. But that's all. But you have.
oh, okay, well, I thought that like Persian came before Arabic and then.
Right. So after Arabs invade Iran, right, and then they take power for centuries. They are on power in Iran, right, and especially that's during the what we know of the golden ages of Islam. That's between 8th century to the 13th century. what happens is they force their cultural values, including their language, and so a lot of vocabulary that are basically now used in the language in Persian language, Farsi. A lot of them are kind of coming from the Arabic language. So that has happened. That has happened in many places, part of the world. So that's how languages also somehow evolve, right? So that's the reason basically. But it's not about which one has a longer history or not. It's really about which one had more power and what they did when they had the power. Great. So now I want to start talking about Radif. Can everyone, especially non-Iranians, say Radif after me? Are you ready? Radif. Great. So Radif, for a 9-year-old who has nothing to do with music in Iran, probably they hear like همه چی ردیفه, like you hear that is everything radif, means that everything is in order. Okay, and radif really means row in Persian as well, right? So it's when you put things in order, it's radif. But here we're talking about a different radif. Radif refers to the repertoire of classical Persian music. So today I'm going to focus on talking about radif. So for the next hour or so, we'll talk about radif. We'll sing something that is driven from radif. It's basically, it refers, what radif is a collection of melodies that has been transmitted generation to generation by oral tradition. Meaning that there have been a lot of melodies that they have gathered together, they have put them in order to teach the next generation what the classical Persian music is. So they call that radif. So it doesn't really exist. It's just a term that we use for this collection. Okay, we name this collection radif because it is organized. And when I say oral tradition, it means a lot of it has been transmitted through sitting down with your master, the person who knows the music, and sing it to you or play it to you, and you listen and you play it back. So you don't use any notation or anything other than really listening deeply and trying to memorize it. Now imagine if there was no tape recorder and you couldn't do any recording. So you would play, you will listen to your master, you go home, you sleep, somehow you forget it. You have to wait for a whole week until the next week you see the master. So it takes so much time and courage to memorize it, right? But now, like when I went through learning the radif, I was able to record it. And every time I recorded, so I would go and sit down. And back then, when I started, it was just a cassette player I had. So I had to record it on the cassette. And then I would go back and just try to get it back to the moments that I really want to hear, listen to it, and then sing it again. So I was a lot of back and forth with the cassette. It wasn't as easy, honestly. But then, one more, here we go. And until today, radif has been used for teaching and training Iranian musicians. So if Iranian musician, if you want to learn classical Iranian music, then you have to learn the radif. So that's why radif is really a pedagogical source. So nobody goes on a stage and perform the radif. You do perform after you learn the radif. What you learn from it, you extract from. And each master musician has their own radif. So there are differences between the radif of one person to another person. But the structure still is very similar in a sense. And various radifs have been notated using Western notations. So there are actually no notations, like musical notations of the radif that you can now buy and actually play from. It's difficult actually to do it. You have to listen and you have to have a really good musicianship, and you should be really a strong musician to be able to do that. So you still need to really sit down with a master and learn it. And there are two different radifs. There is the vocal one and an instrumental one. One that is for vocalists and one that is the instrumental. Why? Because the instruments can do crazy things, right? They can go up and down quick, and they don't have words to use, but the vocal radif is different because you have limitation with your voice. And normally it takes between 6 to 8 years to learn the radif. So usually it's a long time. So only to learn one radif, it takes 8 years almost. I spent it about that, like 8 years to learn the first radif that I learned. Now here I'm gonna just show you different books of radifs. They're really the musical notation of them. So just to give you an idea that different masters have different radifs, and even we have the vocal radif that was written. But all of them, again, you need to work with a master to learn that. Now I talked about the instrumental radif, and let me just see if I can, if at all, play something for you here. Ah. Sorry, just a second. Okay, we had so much trouble. My computer is going crazy. So let me see if I can now find it and play. Here we go. So this is an instrumental. This is the instrumental radif, just an example from it. And now I'm going to play a vocal radif example. Okay, so this one is just the reason I chose this is specific. It's the same one actually that you heard. It's a slightly different. Yo, oh, oh, yo, yo, yo. This is just the beginning part of one of the melodies that they have put together and used. So, and I remember as a kid, actually, I was 9 years old when I had my first Persian vocal class, and I had a teacher who wonderful, a brilliant singer, pretty well known, and he sat down in front of me and sing this to me, and I was looking at it. Let's forget about it. So he sang to me, and I was like looking at it, and I was like, what? Because I didn't know what happened. I couldn't follow. It was hard, and then actually it was Morse that I just paused but in between them. But this is like how you learn the music. You sit down, you hear these melodies, you memorize them. But there is a system that you follow. So I'm going to show you that for sure. So now let me talk about how the structure of the radif works really. There are several melodies that are created based on tetrachords and pentachords. This is really for those who know music, and if you don't know it, that's okay. But really, it is based on a few notes. Tetrachord refers to 4 notes, and pentachord refers to 5 notes. So that's it. So you have like melodies that are based on only 4 or 5 notes, and you put them together, kind of, and you create the radif. But those melodies we know of when you start analyzing them, you see that there is a traditional melodic pattern that there are a bunch of traditional melodic patterns that you use in order to create melodies. So as you start learning the radif, what you really learn is how these traditional melodic patterns come together to create melodies. Okay. And I will explain this in different ways as we go, so it becomes clearer for you. So the probably a little bit of a hard part to it, but also important is that each melody that we have a specific name, but we call them all together, all of those melodies, we don't call them melodies. We call them gushe. And gushe means part of. A corner, it means really a gushe is like a part of something, right? Part of larger system or part of something larger. So we have the radif that basically is what is the organizer of these gushes. And what are the gushes? Are these melodies that are based on a specific melodic patterns that we have. So So more specifically, we collect the gushes based on their musical common sounds, which are intervals, the space between 2 notes. How one note, one sound is higher than the other. Okay, the interval, that's what we refer to, the interval. So based on their commonalities, musical commonalities, we put the gushes together and we group them together in 12 modal systems. Okay, we put the gushes and organize them into 12 modal systems. And then those systems, again, we have a set of way to organize them as well. We have 7 systems that we call them dastgah. Can everyone say after me dastgah? And we have 5 avaz. Great. Avaz and dastgah. So again, within radif, what we have is 7 dastgahs and avazes and 5 avazes. So 7 dastgah, 5 avaz. What are underneath under them? There are a bunch of melodies which we know of as gushe. So there are many gushes together that create one dastgah, and then there is another pile of melodies that creates another dastgah. There are a lot of there is a like number of gushes that create another avaz and so on, right? So again, this is a way to organize them. But what are the avazes and dastgahs? Well, dastgah in Farsi means system. Okay, dastgah in Farsi really means system, and as you see, we really have a bunch of systems working, like there are subsystems within them, which I will talk about. Avaz in Farsi, in other hand, means song or singing. Avaz, okay, and the term avaz and how we use it again shows how important poetry and singing poems is. So singing is very important in our musical culture because of how poetry is important in our culture. Now, what's the relationship between dastgah and avaz? Because that might be a question. Why then do we have 7 dastgahs and 5 avazes? Why don't we have 12 dastgahs? Okay, there is a good explanation of this because compared to avaz, dastgah is more complex. So it's just more complex. It's bigger and it has more gushes usually. And avazes are driven from the dasgahs. So we have 7 dasgahs, and then we have 5 avazes that are driven from the dasgahs. Why? Because of how the musical intervals are basically connected to one another. Again, I will show you a little bit more of this to explain it further. Most of the musicians believe that there are extra musical reasons behind why we have 7 dasgahs and 5 avazes. Because really, when you think about the theory, you can change them around. But the number 5 and number 7 and the combination of them 12 are numbers that are spiritually and historically important to Iranians specifically, but also you find that in many other cultures these 3 numbers can be important. So again, can we make changes to these and come up with new way of explaining, organizing, and grouping them? Yes, absolutely, we can. The only thing is, why would we change it if it's a tradition that has been working, right? There's not much need of that, so we keep going with these numbers. Although there are some people have tried doing it. Now, the interesting thing is this: if you combine, if you look at the dasgah, it seems like there have been 2 avazes, 2 smaller systems that have been combined together because there was a common ground for both of them to be connected to one another. And now we have a dasgah. So we could turn all the dasgahs that we have into 2 different avazes, which are just a smaller systems. Now, what Iranian classical music, why do I have Iranian classical? I would rather use classical Iranian music, and that there is a reason for different reason for that too. But Iranian classical music or classical Iranian music or Iranian music, the traditional Iranian music, is an improvisatory music occurring within a systematic framework. I like this definition for this music because it is really an improvisatory music where we really improvisation on the spot when you are performing it is the most important part of this music. However, it's not just random improvisation. It occurs within a systematic framework that we have, which is the radif. This framework is called radif, and radif includes number of gushes, and gushes, which are those little melodies, are organized in 7 dasgahs and 5 avazes. That is, for me, a good way of explaining what classical Iranian music is. Now, I can show you now the names. So, do you remember the gushe? We say each of these melodies have a specific names, okay? And there are over 120 up to 240 different melodies. 240 gushes, and they have specific names. So when you learn that music, when you listen to it, when I sang yo ho 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 yo ho ho, that was that was what I played and I sang for you. That was my first lesson. And most people who start studying this music's first lesson is that. And that has a name. Okay, that's a gushe that has a specific name to it. And then also, and so when I memorized yo ho ho yo ho, I don't know. I know what this is called. It's called daramad of mahur. There is a specific name for it. But what it is a gushe, a melody within one of these 7 and 5 avazes, okay? And specifically what I'm singing is daramad, and it is in mahur. What are these? These are the names of each dasgah and avaz. So we don't have dasgah number 1, dasgah number 2 or 3. They have a specific names, okay? And it starts with shur. And let's repeat after me, right? You are practicing Farsi too. And shur, by the way, also it means when the food is salty, we call it as shur. Okay, shur means salty too. Okay, but it also has different meanings. Okay, but so let's repeat after me, okay? Shur.
Sure.
Okay, I need more participation. You don't get extra credit if you don't participate. Okay, shur.
Sure.
Nava.
Nava.
Sega.
Sega.
Homayun.
Homayun.
Chahargah.
Chahargah.
Mahu.
Mahu.
Rast و پنجگاه.
راست و پنجگاه.
Now let's go to آوازes. بیات ترک.
بیات ترک.
ابوعطا.
ابوعطا.
افشاری.
افشاری.
دشتی.
دشتی.
بیات اصفهان.
بیات اصفهان.
That's great. Okay, so wonderful. Thank you so much for helping me. But what you see, you have 7 dasgahs with their names, and then 5 avazes. And as I said, avazes are connected to the dasgahs. They're kind of driven from the dasgahs. Okay, and I will explain it shortly why and how, and we'll talk about that as we go. Now, this is an example. This is the list of a recording. So this is a list of a recording of دستگاه ماهور, and what I sang for you was that top one, درآمد اول, and it's like 25 seconds long. So it says it's 25 seconds long. So this is of a radif of a specific, again, master davami, okay, and this is just the number of hushes. We have from 7 to 25, right? How many is that? 7 to 25. Are you awake? Yes. So who can do the math for me? 18. Thank you. So there are 18 different gushes, and see, some of them are like as long as like 3 minutes. Okay, and you sit down and memorize it. You sit down and memorize it with every details, and that's how you learn it. So this is, I think, about if I'm not mistaken, 17 to 18 minutes of music that you have to memorize. There's no notes, there's nothing. It's just you listen and you sing back and memorize. Of course, for instrumentalists, they can read the notes, but doesn't help as much. So when I'm talking about radif, is basically this huge collection that has 7 dasgahs and 5 avazes that are driven from the dasgahs, kind of. I'm trying to. Then there are a bunch of melodies within that, right? So in each system, you have a bunch of melodies that work together, right? That's how the music is organized. Now, I'm going back to poetry again, okay? To also again make sense out of it. But this is a this is kind of something that I'm currently working on actually writing an article about this, and I look into the form of ghazal. Ghazal is a form of poetry that is shared between. It's actually an Arabic form of poetry that Persians have picked up and used in their poetry. And ghazal is one of the most used forms of poetry that we have in Persian culture. Now, when you look at ghazal, so of course, again, we write from right to left. So from right to left, we write, right? And this is one line. So we start from here. آنان که خاک را به نظر کیمیا کنند آیا بود که گوشه چشمی به ما کنند. So this is a couplet that has a specific poetic rhythm. Tan tan ta tan ta tan ta ta tan ta tan 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 ta tan ta tan ta ta tan ta tan. So that's the poetic rhythm if I go with short and long and extra long, right? But the very interesting thing about ghazal is this. It has usually it's between 8 to 13, 14, sometimes longer number of lines, and they're all in couplet. But the interesting thing that you can see in ghazal is that it rhymes in the first couplet. They rhyme together. That's why I have this. So آنان که خاک را به نظر کیمیا کنند آیا بود که گوشه چشمی به ما کنند. So کنند and کنند here, you can just hear it, right? You don't need to know what it means, but here you hear that they are rhyming. The end of each stanza is basically rhyming to one another. Now, the interesting thing is when you go to the second line, then the second line, the end of the second line rhymes with the first line, right? And so on and so forth. So the rhyming happens at the end of each line after the first line. So in the first line, each stanza rhyme to rhyme, and then the end of each line then rhyme with the first line. Now, the other interesting aspect of ghazal as a form is that you can take out or you can move the lines around and the meaning still stays the same. So although ghazal is written in a way that it says a story or it conveys a specific meaning, if you take 3 lines out of it and then just have the first line and the 5th line and the 6th line, something like that, still makes sense. Okay, so that already within it, it's a pretty open form, right? Now, classical Persian music is also like this. And the structure of it is exactly mimicking the structure of the ghazal. And each dastgah and avaz works like a ghazal. These gushes that I talked about that creates each dastgah or avaz, they come one after another, and musically they have an ascending motion. They go up in the sound. Okay, we go higher and higher in the pitch. Okay, and as we go higher and higher, one thing we do is every time we go one step higher, we go a little higher in the sound and then the pitch that we are using. We always at the end have a comeback to the beginning, to the starting point that we were. And that I see it as the rhyming. You always go back. Now, you don't have to have all the gushes layered together and sing it to finish it. You can take a bunch of them out and just have 2 gushes sang together. But you always have that comeback, which brings you back to home, kind of, where you were. And so I think if based on the explanation I gave you, you can think of the notes, musical notes, just any note. These are just different notes, random notes, right? You can think of them as these alphabets, right? These letters. And then when you put them together, what you create is syllables, right? Those syllables are what? They are kind of like the traditional melodic patterns that you create together. Oh, sorry, no. The syllables, you put them together. I'm sorry, I forgot that. After the notes, what you basically create are sort of like shorter patterns. And then when you put them together to make a word, right, those words are the traditional melodic patterns. And then when you put a bunch of them, the traditional melodic patterns together, you create a gushe. So you create this like one line of poetry, right? So if we think about the Radif as a system, we can use this the general systems theory, which actually my mentor Professor Hossein Umumi has based his analysis of the Radif on. We can use this to explain the Radif again. Again, this is another way for me to explain what the Radif is and how it works. If you use the general systems theory, you can easily refer to the relationship of each component that you have, the gushes, okay? Because here is another thing, is that gushes that we have in each dastgah and avaz, they're not all the same. They have different functions, okay? And based on the general systems theory, the subsystems can be the gushes because you have a system, and then within a system you have a bunch of subsystems. But not all the subsystems are the same. So imagine if you have a car, right? it's a system, the car is a system, then you have an engine versus you have a tire, right, in the car. And those are the subsystems of your car, right? Now, an engine, you pour in gas and then it starts moving the whole car, the vehicle moves around with use of engine. But the tire that you have is just a tire. Based on what you give to it, you don't get much out of it. So we can say that the engine has a more open, it's a more open system compared to the tire, right? So if you think about that, then in every system, you have open and closed systems, and that can be very relative, right? Not all the open or closed systems have the same functions or the same openness. They are different depending on what you feed them and what you get out. Okay, so if you think of Radif as a system, we have tetrachords and pentachords, which I talked about the notes, and then we have traditional melodic patterns that are built on tetrachords and pentachords. Then you put them together, you create the couches. Then the couches create dastgahs and avazes. Then dastgah and avazes create the Radif. Okay. Now, when you start thinking about it that way, you will be able to see how there are basically, even within the Radif itself, there are three main groups, and you can group even some of these dastgahs and avazes together because musically they work together. Okay, and there are some of the Persian instruments that are limited in terms of tuning, like the santur. You can tune the santur that is limited for tuning. It has 72 strings, and every time you want to tune it, each note has 4 strings. So if you want to change the tuning, you have to sit down and tune. It takes time. But if you tune the santur to play any of these ones from the first group, you will be able to play the rest. If you tune the santur for playing any of these 3, you can play all these 3. And then if you tune it for these 2, you can play these 2. Okay? So this is just a way to, again, another way of simplifying it. I know I'm giving you a lot of information. You're thinking about what do you mean by simplifying? But as you start learning this tradition, you realize that this kind of way of looking into the music simplifies it for you to learn, and you will trust me. You will experience it too. So open and closed couches are the terms that we use to distinguish the difference between couches from one another. Again, not all couches have the same functions. We have open couches and closed couches. They're like open systems and closed systems. The open couches are musical atmospheres in which improvisation and composition occur. Okay, so we have some couches that we learned, like the first one that I sang for you. Right, so now I can put any poetry, and because I know these patterns, I can put any poetry in it, just change it around. But it's still, if I sing it for anyone who knows this music, they would know that I'm singing the Darama of Mahur. So they know that what gushe it is and in what dastgah it is. So if I start to say, we are all getting tired now, I should start to move on to singing parts. Right, so it doesn't matter what I do in it. Still, it's going to be daramad, and still it's going to be in mahur. So if anyone knows this music, they would know right away what I'm saying. Right now, closed couches are basically the open couches. Okay. Now, so basically, when you want to learn this music, the first thing you want to learn is those open couches, because that's where you can start improvising. Right, but the masters probably the masters started to use a specific poetic rhythms or specific melodies in those open gushes, the open atmospheres, to create a way of which you can improvise. And then they said, I'm going to teach you this way of singing this open gushe, but they named it a different gushe. They just named it something else. So they closed it with a specific melody or a specific poetic or rhythmic pattern, right? So for example, when I sing, now I can say I want to sing it okay, and say this was my I came up with this melody and I call it Gushe Hesam, Abedini, Sak state. And I teach it to my students next time I see them and I say this is the name. That's a closed gushe. So you can always make new gushes and add it to the radif. You can do that. But it got to a time where they had like 200 something gushes. Nobody wanted to add more gushes because there was already enough, right? So any song we create in classical Persian music basically is a closed gushe. You can think of it as closed gushe because there is this open gushe that you took and you closed it with a specific melody or rhythmic pattern. Okay? So here is an example of exactly what I showed you. These are the highlighted ones are the open gushes in Mahu. So we are in Dastgah and Mahu, which I was just singing. And these are Daramad, Goshayesh, Hesar, Feli, Dilkash, Arab, Rak. These are the name of all the open gushes you find in Dastgah of Mahu. The rest are what? These are all closed gushes. So they basically exist within one of these open gushes, right? They're just a specific way of singing this. Right, for example, I'm just thinking that where is so we have God and this navies 2C. So this one, for example, it says 2C char. This one specifically is چه شود به چهره زرد من نظری برای خدا کنی که اگر کنی همه درد من به یکی نظاره دوا کنی تو شهی و کشور جان تو را تو مهی و ملک جهان تو را ز ره کرم چه زیان تو را که نظر به حال گدا کنیست تتتن تتن تتتن تتن تتتن تتن تتتن تتن. It's a very specific poetic rhythm. It's known as chahar pare in poetry, and they took this tatan 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 tatan. So as soon as I sing this and anyone knows the radif, they would say, oh, chahar pare, it's in Mahur. But this is close. It's like closing it. Right? It's an open gushe that is this is an open daramad. This is the same notes. I'm just playing around with them. It's the same notes. It's a daramad, but I closed it with a specific melodic pattern and a rhythmic pattern. Now, the structure of that, this is the last one, I promise. Oh my God, we have very little time. So, as I talked about this, I will just remind you of this. The structure of the music in terms of pitch material and how it works is an ascending structure. So we start from low and then we get to higher pitches and then we come back. And you remember, we always come back to home every time we go up. So that structure basically of us and Askas, they raise and they come back, and we have names for them too. we have درآمد, اوج, and فرود. So the first open گوشه in all 12 systems is called درآمد. You remember how I was saying درآمد ماهور? I was referring to it because all 12 systems, like we have Shur, which is one of them, which you all remember, it means non-Iranians. Do you remember what Shur means? Did you take note of? That was the most important thing I said. Yes! Which class are you from? I mean, no. I mean, like you are not in Dr. Razavi's class. You should get dabble. So so درآمد of Shur, because درآمد is with the name of the first گوشه in every دستگاه or آواز is known as درآمد. Why? Because درآمد means a starting point. You come into something. That's what درآمد means in Persian. So we call all the first گوشه as درآمد. Okay, that's درآمد. Okay, that is a starting point. Then we go to the highest گوشه, we call that اوج, or it means the climax. You get to the اوج, you get to the climax, okay? And then after that, and the اوج in different دستگاه and آوازes have different names. And after that, any open گوشه that comes after the درآمد, it always goes back, descends to the درآمد. So it goes up, goes to the درآمد, and it does the فرود. فرود is landing. It lands on درآمد. Again, we go up. Again, we go land to درآمد. And then we go to اوج, we land to درآمد. We always come back to the درآمد. And that's like basically the structure of this music. Any questions to now? We're going to sing. Yes.
Seven. The other one, no, and then she goes.
Oh, the mahur, the list. Because there are like 7 CDs in that packet that has all the 12 دستگاه and آوازes, and then so that's a CD that has mahur, it starts with number 7. I should have hidden those numbers. I can. Yes.
I actually wanted to make a comment and also ask a question.
Sure.
So first of all, I had heard Iranian musicians talk about Radif and saying that the Radif is like limited, like you cannot come up with new ones. And then I have heard other Iranian musicians say that no, it is limitless and you can just come. So thank you. You just explained why that discrepancy exists, because you can't, but you can.
Yeah.
Like they've done all of it.
Yeah. And there are people who like have the Radif that has 600 gushes. They just collected everything possible and they put it together. But the question is, what's the point of doing that? What's the point of reducing it or adding more to it or any change? It's always the question of what is it that you are looking for, right? Sometimes you're collecting things, that's great. Collect as many as you can. Sometimes you want to teach it, then you want to think about how to make it as simplified as possible so the person can learn it as quick as possible and be able to really do something. Yes.
And also, this one is more of a personal question. So, I'm asking for your opinion, obviously. I'm immensely interested in Persian poetry, and also Persian music. But the thing is, every time I try to listen to Persian music, and especially the great masters, I wanna hear the poem. Like I wanna hear that. Okay, what is the point of the poem? Like what are you saying? And then there's so much,
Ornamentation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I feel like, okay, I get it. You're a great artist and your voice is your art, is your instrument, and you're playing your instrument for us. Thank you. Could you please get to the words?
Yeah.
So we can, get the meaning of the poem.
Yeah.
Am I crazy?
No. So no, that's a really interesting point. So the tahrir that I was doing actually to show off that I can sing, honestly. No, I'm just kidding. I was just trying to sing something for you, but this is like some sort of a tahrir, right? So he's asking that I start doing that, but then if there is the poem, then a lot of times it's the matter of their diction. They are not really pronouncing all the poems well, and they have lost what it means to what that music is. I think, in my opinion, I think you want to look into their intention. A lot of time, maybe their intention is not the music itself. The intention is to release something that people will be thinking, wow, that's amazing, right? So, and that's not only with Persian music. I think it's any music is like that. So you find a lot of examples where you start thinking about, is this the reason that this music exists or not? And that's okay, I think. I think it's okay if they want to do other things. You want to find the right person and the right recording for you and for your own taste, right? But I think when you look into the history of this music, when you analyze this music, you realize that poetry is everything. Like, you can't avoid it. So therefore, whenever I sing, I make sure, and when I create a piece, when I'm improvising, I make sure if I choose a poetry or a poem, a lot of times, a lot of musicians choose the poem just because it's famous and everyone knows that, right? But hopefully, when you choose words, every single of those should matter to you, right? So you want to be careful with that. But some artists maybe not follow that because maybe that's not their intention. Yes, great. And one.
What is پیش درآمد؟
پیش درآمد is a form of a rhythmic piece that was added to the music later in late 19th century, early 20th century. And what they did was they wanted to start the concert, and they would sit down in the concert and start saying, because they want to start with درآمد to set the tone and say where they are. And they started thinking that we are doing some entertainment too, right? So they were like, let's start with something else. And they came up with the idea of پیش درآمد. پیش درآمد is like an overture. It is a rhythmic piece that sets which دستگاه or آواز you are in at the beginning of a concert. So you play it, and then you go through a few of the open bouches in a rhythmic way. So it brings some energy to the audience. And then after that, you start your improvisation. So پیش درآمد is not part of the radif. What it is just a form. It's like an overture. It's like a form of piece. Yeah.
پیش درآمد and تحریر.
Okay, tahrir means ornamentation. So ornamentation, like the way we sing, we have the poetry, of course, we have the melody, everything, we sing the poetry, but then we have tahrir, meaning that we use just ornamentations that we are basically mimicking the sound that we find in nature, especially birds singing, like this is like birds singing, kind of, that humans imitate, and that's tahrir. That's what tahrir means. Yeah. Yes.
گوشه با پاساژ شعر بود.
Okay, so the question is, what's the relation of gushe and passage, right? Passage is really refers to a motion in melody. So whatever it is, it's usually short, but gushe is long. It's usually between 30 seconds to 2-3 minutes long. So it's the combination of different passages, right? Musical ones.
Thank you.
Yeah. So now that you are very tired and you're like, leave us alone, maybe, I don't know, or maybe you're so excited to see, I have something for you. Oh, I forgot to ask Saha. Do we have the pages that we printed out? No? Okay. So, I mean, I have them here. So I have it here. So that's. No.
Nothing.
So what I'm gonna work on today with you, before we play with dear Nariman and his students, is singing the two main open gushes. There are only two open gushes in one of the avazes. So we have 7 daskas and 5 avazes. One of these avazes is pretty small. It's only 2 open gushes. Okay, only 2 open bouches, but it is very favorable by a lot of Iranians, and we have a lot of songs that are composed in this avaz, and the avaz that I'm referring to is avaz dashti. You see it here. So I have. Forget about this. These are the lessons of Pish Radif. Okay, that's created by my mentor, Master Hossein Umumi, and I have worked with him on these. And what we have is Avaz Dashti, and Avaz Dashti is driven from the Dastgah Shur, right? Avaz Dashti is driven from Dastgah Shur, and we are learning Avaz Dashti. Now, we have the closed bouche. We are using a closed bouche to learn the open bouches. Why? Because it gives us a rhythm, a specific poetic rhythm that we can hold on to as we learn, okay? And the closed bouche has a specific name. It calls Dashtestani, okay? So if you sing this to someone, they would know it as Dashtestani. If someone knows this music, they would know it as Dashtestani. Now, this is what the poem that we are going to sing is from 11th century. Baba Tahir is the name of the poet. And from 11th century, so you're going to sing a poem from 1,000 years ago. It still makes sense. Okay, now the poetic rhythm is short, long, 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 short, long, 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 short, long, long, right? So ta tan tan tan, ta tan tan tan, ta tan tan. Let's try saying it after I say it. Okay, one more time. Listen carefully and say it after me. Ta tan tan tan, ta tan tan tan, ta tan tan. Tan, 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 ta, tan, 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 ta, tan, tan. So basically, it's 2 of these. Ta, tan, tan, tan. Ta, tan, tan, tan. Ta, tan, tan, tan. Again, ta, tan, tan, tan. And then the last one is 1 tan best. Ta, tan, tan. Ta, tan, tan, tan. Ta, tan, tan, tan. Ta, tan, tan. Again. Ta, tan, tan, tan. Ta, tan, tan, tan. Ta, tan, tan. Again. Ta tan 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 tan. Great. So if this ta tan tan continued with another tan, and if I counted this as short and this one long, so this is 1, this is 2, I would have 1 plus 2 is 3, plus another 2 is 5, plus another 2 is 7. Now, if I want to clap this, I can clap this with 7. You don't have 7 much in any kind of Western music you listen to, in popular or classical Western music, really. But we do have it in Persian. We call it irregular meter, okay? And it's in 7. Ta tan tan tan. 1 2 3 1 2 1 2. It's a combination of 3 plus 2 plus 2. And this is going to be the rhythm that we are going to sing on, okay? If you just learn this rhythm, you're super cool between your friends because they don't know this rhythm. Okay, so the rhythm is ta tan tan tan. 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 1 2 3 1 2 1 2. Can we try to say 1 2 3 and then 1 2 1 2? It's going to be hard. Okay, but let's try. So 1 2 1 2 we are going to do snapping, but 1 2 3 we are going to clap it. Okay. Let's try it. So 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 1 2 3 1 1 1 2 3 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 tan 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 tan. Can you say it? Tan 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 tan. Ta-tan, tan, tan, ta-tan, tan, tan, ta-tan, tan. Great. Thank you so much, Nariman, for joining me. So now we have an amazing comeback player with us, Nariman Asadi, my wonderful friend. You all know him, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he's amazing, right? And if you don't, join his next performance here. But then he's
This Sunday, actually, we have a public performance at Shapsat restaurant in Folsom.
go ahead. So they can have
Free
kebab
public.
and then they come out and see you.
Yeah, it's outside.
Outside.
Yeah.
That's the
Sunday,
best
4:30.
experience.
Yeah.
Wow, Sunday 4:30. So please do. Thank you so much for joining me. So this is the rhythm that we are gonna work. This is the poetic rhythm that closes the open bouches that we are gonna work with. Okay. And these are the two lines that we are gonna sing together, okay? For non-Iranians, I have the, so let me quickly explain what we have here, okay? So we have the first, so the Farsi version, okay? We go from right to left, right? This is the first line, and then this is the second line, right? Underneath, you have the Finglish for you. So it's the how you want to pronounce for non-Farsi speakers, how you want to pronounce the words, but it's written in English, using English letters, right? And then you have the translations, okay? So you know what's going on. So I'm going to just read the poem for you first. یکی درد و یکی درمان پسندد یکی وصل و یکی هجران پسندد من از درمان و درد و وصل و هجران پسندم آنچه را جانان پسندد. So it's very beautiful. Some prefer pain and some healing. Some prefer union and some separation. Between cure and pain, union and separation, I prefer what my beloved prefers. If you needed caption for your next Instagram post, you have it here, okay? You can use that. You don't need to give credit to me. That's fine. It's a beautiful poem. It's really beautiful, and I think it fits well with the musical atmosphere that we are going to sing it in. Okay, and so I'm gonna now read this once, and then you repeat after me. I'm gonna go little by little. So we start from there if you don't read Farsi. Okay. یکی درد و
یکی درمان
یکی درمان
یکی درمان
پسندد یکی وصل و
یکی وصل و
یکی هجران
یکی هجران
پسندد.
پسندد.
So we have the pasandad means prefer, huh? Pasandad and pasandad. You repeat some of the words. Now we are going to repeat a lot of them here. من از
من از
درمان و
درمان
درد و
در
هجران
وصل و
وصل و
من
sorry one more time من از
از
درمان و درد و وصل و
وصل و
هجران
هجران
پسندم
پسندم
آنچه را
آنچه را
جانان پسندد.
جانان پسند.
Yes, I love this actually combination because I think music is all about building community and working together and being generous and supportive. And here we have a combination of those who know the language and who don't, and we kind of help one another to learn something. And that's so beautiful, right? It's the idea of giving and receiving. So it's very beautiful. Thank you so much for bearing. So now I'm gonna try to sing this on the 7 beats that we have without a melody. Okay, so we just get the rhythm. Okay, and because there are ornamentations within it, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold some of these syllables longer than it is. So you will see how it is. So let's go with 7. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Tan, 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 tan. Right now, I'm gonna sing how the rhythm will be. Okay, in 7 of this poem. یکی درد و یکی درمان پسندم یکی وصل و یکی هجران پسندم. Thank you. So just one line. So I'm just singing the rhythm so you can get the rhythm because rhythm is in 7 and it's not usual. So I want to make sure first you get the rhythm. We are breaking it down. Then when we put the melody in, it's going to be easy. You're going to get the melody as well. Because then melody is another complexity. We are going to add it later. Okay. So let's listen one more time too. Okay. Ready? Go. Let's go. Okay. 1, 2, 3, go. یکی درد و یکی درمان پسند together یکی درد و یکی درمان پسند. Okay, this repeats again here with different words. So we have to learn that first. Okay, let's do it one more time. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. یکی درد و یکی درمان پسند. یکی وصل و یکی هجران پسند. Right? So that's the rhythm. Just have it in your mind, okay? So now, can you give me a note, like just one moment? Oh. So now I'm gonna try to sing it for you, so you have an idea. Actually, I'm gonna go from beginning to the end, so you can hear. Okay? Ready? Let's go. یکی درد و یکی درمان پسند. یکی وصل و یکی هجران پسند. من از درمان و درد و وصل و هجران پسندم آنچه را جانان پسندد. پسندم آنچه را پسندم. Right? Thank you. So what happens is I start This is درآمد, right? Do you remember how I said we go up and then we go back again? La la la. That was the next one. It's the ouj or shaf. This is the ouj. Now from درآمد we go to ouj. And the dashti, this avaz is very small. That's why I use it to do this kind of workshop where you can just see the whole thing very quickly, just with two. So I can then I go back. So I basically sing the درآمد, then I go up to the ouj here, and then gradually I furud back here. Remember, I descend, I come land to the درآمد again. So I go up and then I go back. Now, of course, like the mahur that I showed you is a very complex system that has multiple layers that you can go to and then come back. So basically the classical Persian music is really, the structures are like different buildings with different heights. And in each building, you have every floor is colored different, right? And then you can take the elevator to the first floor and the second and the third and fourth. And every time the door is open in front of you, it's a different color, different weather, different atmosphere, different people. That's how it works, right? So I have the poetry here. So if you can take maybe one and pass down, and we can just look at it and try, because if you have it in front of you, it's going to be easier. Yeah, so actually can you just pass down this and go from there? فقط همین یه نکته رو.
نه این اصلا قبلا آقای خانلری تن رو درست کردن آیده درست خانلری هم نیست. اتانی هست به جای خالد.
So let's try this one more time. So in 7, I'm gonna try and I'm gonna sing only one stanza, only one stanza at a time. Okay. So and I'm almost losing my voice because I talked so much today. Let's do it. So. یکی درد و یکی. Let's go with that only, okay? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, go! That was hard. Okay, one more time. We count to 7 twice and then we start, okay? Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. یکی درد و یکی. Okay, this one, the beginning is yeki. If you have female voice or treble voice, higher voice, you can go yeki dardo. Right, it's there. Yeki. Right, so the treble voices can go there. Can you all sing it? Only treble voices, the female voices. Not. Do I say it right? Not okay. Treble is treble. Do you know what that is? So that's high. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. But we are up, right? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. Okay, great. No, you shouldn't try that. You shouldn't. It's too hard. I don't want to try it either. So that's great. See how much powerful it is, and you can relax and sing it. Okay. So let's try that. You keep that, and then male voices or bass voices. Make sure that you are an octave lower with me. Yeki. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. Yeki. Yeki. Okay. This one, the yeki. 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 Again. Yeki. Okay, let's try the whole thing. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Yeki. That's great. Now, next one. Darmon. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Darmon. Together. Ready? Go. Darmon. 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 Okay, so let's try all of them. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Darmon. Hassan, easy, right? Let's do it. Everyone did it. That's wonderful. Okay, so this I teach at UC Irvine or Soka University or Saddleback College or Cal State Fullerton, and the students have to learn it in 1 week and sing it back and on a track and send it. And none of them are Persians, mostly like maybe 1 or 2 ever, if they are. And they quickly learn it. And you are just doing it great. It's easy. You are doing it. So it's beautiful. Just put a little more energy and you will get it done. Okay? Let's try it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1.
یکی درد و یکی درمان پسندد. Okay, next one is a lot of it is similar. Okay, so listen carefully. یکی وصل و یکی هجران پسندد. Hijran Hasanda. This is easier actually, right? There's no it's just Hijran Hasanda. That's it, right? So the beginning is the same as the beginning of the other one. The Hijran is Hijran Hasanda, right? So Yeki is the second part. Listen and then sing with me. یکی وصل و یکی هجران پسندد. Together. یکی وصل و یکی هجران پسندد. That's great. That sounds great. And you're singing great. They deserve a lot of extra credits. They do. Yeah. So let's try the whole one, the first line, okay? Ready? Ready? Together. یکی درد و یکی درمان پسندد. یکی وصل و یکی هجران پسندد. That's great. So the second one is very easy. من از درمان و درد و وصل و هجران. If you don't know a Persian, it's going to be a lot of words back to back, right? It's fast. It's like you're rapping. But it's just من از درمان و درد و وصل و هجران. Everyone after me again. من از درمان و درد و وصل و هجران. Go.
من از درمان و درد و وصل و هجران.
Okay, it's من از درمان و درد و وصل و درد و وصل و درد, right? It's pain, right? من از درمان و درد و وصل و هجران.
من از درمان و درد و وصل و هجران.
Again, one more time. من از درمان و درد و وصل و هجران.
من از درمان و درد و وصل و هجران.
That's great. Now, پسندم آنچه را جانان پسندد. We are going down. Okay? پسندم آنچه را جانان پسندد. پسندم آنچه را جانان پسندد. Again. پسندم آنچه را جانان پسندد. Again. پسندم آنچه را جانان پسندد. That's great. Before we do the furud, because we repeat this last part, پسندم آنچه را جانان پسندد, slowly similar to the beginning, because we want to go back to the darama. Okay? So before we do that, I'm going to do this one more time, the whole line. Okay? All back to back. Okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. من از درمان و درد و وصل و هجران پسندم آنچه را جانان پسندد. Together. من از درمان و درد و وصل و هجران پسندم آنچه را جانان پسندد. من از درمان و درد و وصل و هجران پسندم آنچه را جانان پسندد.
از درمان و درد و وصل و هجران. پسندم آنچه را جانان پسندد.
That's amazing. You sound wonderful. Thank you so much. Great. Please. Yeah, that's amazing. You're doing all great. Great work. I wish I had candies for Halloween that I could give to you now. But I forgot. Next time. But then at the end, we repeat this once again to finish. پسندم آنچه را یکی درد و Yeki. It's the same thing, but same melody. Hasandan then we relax. So let's do Pasandam, the descent, right? The flute, okay? Pasandam So let's do it from beginning. Let's see how it goes. Then maybe we can record and put it on TikTok. One of you maybe can put it on TikTok. And maybe we become famous. Maybe you have a TikTok? Okay, so let's try it one more time. Right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeki darko, yeki on Hasan ki basko, yeki on Hasan. Great. Next one. Ready? Go. Manasar monular ho astoheshan. Hasanda on shiroj on hasanda. Hasanda on shiroj. Okay, let's do it one more time. I'm not gonna sing. Okay. And I'm gonna go around. If you don't sing, I will bring you